when I was a young boy in Brazil in the, in the early 70s. I remember seeing TV movies in Brazil where they were trying to build what was called Transamazônica, this road that would cross the Amazon, which is vital for Brazil, for everything, for, to connect, with all sorts of cities and things. But it was very interesting. In the 70s, they didn't have the technology. This is, I think, mind-blowing, because in the 70s, they didn't have the technology to open up the jungle. They would open up the jungle, they would do like a few kilometers, and then, when they were done like with 50 kilometers of this road, at the beginning of the road, the jungle was already reflourishing, and everything was blocked again. So human beings didn't have the power to it was difficult. Nature was so strong that, vegetation would recreate itself, would be so strong that would beat the human being in terms of, and we didn't have machinery to be so powerful. And in like 10, 20 years, we did have like bulldozers, whatever we had, that we could open it in a way, and we changed completely this balance of power with nature. So it's very new, this process of gaining really that kind of a potential. But at the same time, this is what I want to tell you. We have two incidents in the Bible that somehow present us the relationship. Was it fiction? Was it visionary? Or was it an intuition that because the human beings had a consciousness, that we will, at the end, influence the outcoming of reality in this planet? And those two incidents was first, Noah's Ark, where there is a relationship between, natural disasters and human behavior. That's basically what the whole story of Noah is. Human beings behaving in a violent way, and by doing that, disrupting the harmony of the world, of nature. And then we have heavy rain, we have end of the world situations, and it was related to human behavior, even though it was in a very, very sort of theoretical perspective. Human beings were not nice, so God got angry and sort of regret this kind of creation that was done. Then we move on to another situation where God has to intervene, in the sense of trying to harmonize this new creature that was created, talking about us. That's a very interesting model. That's the Tower of Babel. In that model of the tower, remember the story? Human beings decided that they wanted to build this huge tower that would reach the heavens, which is a poetic way of talking about our civilization, about our science. This is very much what we do in Cape Canaveral. This is our Tower of Babel. We want to get to the moon. We want to get to Mars. We want to get to whatever, Again, this is so legitimate. It's coming from that, conquer the world. Conquer this world, the moon, the stars, whatever you can do, you're there. It's if you can, with God's blessing, as a creator, as part of a very important part of life. But in the Tower of Babel, we have this situation where just ambition, without being somehow tempered by something else, is a problem. And they are talking about something differently from the situation with Noah. They are talking here with a more practical scheme or situation or problem that they had at that time. Why? Because Babylon or Babel was at that time sort of the center of the world. And we're starting to have urbanization, the creation of bigger cities. That is all related to the fact that they were dominating agriculture. And by doing that, they were becoming more sedentary and they were creating bigger cities. So that's what they're talking about. They're talking about what is the limit? Can we just build cities or towers or science, with low limit? Are we up to the challenge of having that kind of a power? And this is what the Tower of Babel is talking about. The human beings, by trying to, or not being so careful about tempering their own ambition, they bring the side effects of ambition, which is me, my language, my people, my family over others. This is so interesting. The biblical will take us from this very primitive human being, from Eve and Adam, to Noah, to people from the Tower of Babel. Then we would move to Abraham, who was the beginning of an utopian historic perspective. Why? Because he has a tent, and his tent is open in all directions. What does it mean? He's the first guy to have a possession. What is a tent? This is my place. But how does he conquered that place? He built that tent on a certain ground. He conquered that. And there is possession there. But there is possession that is tempered with open wall, with an open tent from all sides. Meaning social responsibility. Understanding that he is not an island disconnected from the environment, the human environment, and even more than a human environment around him. So how do we build houses that are open from all sides? This is the utopia of Abraham. That his family will be not only his family, but he will be tied to a family from generations to come. That he will be responsible for what happens to humankind, and whatever happens to humankind will be directly connected to his own heritage. This is a new kind of linkage of human connection that was the great contribution of Abraham historically. So the last step is called law, is when Moses goes up to the Mount Sinai and he brings down this incredible innovation, which is law, the ethical aspect that will help to temper this ambition that human beings legitimately have, which is to have some understanding that to be a human being is to care for the other. You cannot care for your own interests if you don't care for the interests of others.